So, I've continued to ponder the question of what I should do when I know that somebody who I perceive to be, at least a moderately, if not fairly good friend, seems to be lying to me, you know. And I've continued to think about what it means to be a Christian. And, but, even just now, like what prompted me to start recording this video, was, okay, so sometimes I like to watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood because I find it very therapeutic. He's just, a very soothing personality, and he encourages people to be emotionally healthy. So I find, I quite like to. But I was watching, let me just check the episode number, because I like to be accurate. I was watching season 2, episode 96, I think. And he starts telling this story about a girl who wants to be just like her mother. And then he begins to say that she sings a song that he clearly wrote himself, that I really doubt that girl would have been singing in of herself. And it occurred to me that there is an extent to which Mr. Rogers will sometimes probably be lying in his show to tell his stories. And the thing is, I tend to think of Mr. Rogers as being almost the personification of moral rectitude. Like, I consider him to be above reproach, almost. Well, nobody's above reproach, but I mean, I consider him to be, like, the best human role model a person could have, in a lot of ways. And yet, at some point in his life, he would have lied. And so I have to think that just because somebody lies, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're necessarily malevolent. And in fact, in his program, there would have been strategic lies. He'd be telling not only as stories, but to be helpful. And, but then it sounds very naive, doesn't it, for me to be thinking, oh, well, okay, I'll just assume that when people are lying to me that they have good intentions, or that they're trying to help me or protect me, which is not always going to be true. There are people who definitely lie with evil intent, or selfish intent. But the thing is, I have to think as a Christian, and Jesus was lied to in his lifetime. He would have been friends with Judas for a very long time, with an absolute and full awareness that Judas was ultimately going to cause his death. And yet, he still continued to be friends with Judas. He didn't push Judas away and say, just get away from me, I know what you're going to do. Like, he let Judas know that he was going to do what he was going to do. But still, yeah, Jesus didn't run from him. And you could argue, well, maybe Jesus only made that decision because he knew that if Judas didn't kill him, he was never going to be able to save humanity. But that's not really true either. Like, if Jesus, was determined to die and he was the Son of God, he could have had it happen anyway. It didn't require the betrayal of a friend. And yet that's the method he chose. And, another thing that's happened within the past 48 hours is that, okay, so the long version of the story, and I feel I should tell it, is that a very long time ago, when I was in high school, I liked a boy, and, actually a lot of girls did, and it made him become a bit arrogant, and he was, sometimes a bit rude and a bit selfish towards me. I think he even borrowed an amount of money from me a very long time ago, and never repaid it, and I decided to be friends with him on Facebook and Instagram, even though really his behavior towards me had left me feeling really rejected and humiliated and disrespected. And, for a long time I'd been thinking, what kind of person am I if I'm allowing people to treat me that way, and then I'm trying to be friends with them anyhow? But then recently, like I've been running various doing various charity activities to try to just because I care about making the world a better place. And he actually donated. He donated a pretty good amount of money. Not not massive by any means, but certainly much more than he ever borrowed from me. And it dawned on me then that had I not, you know, tried to be a friend to him, had I just decided to hold a grudge and not forgive, that good of that amount of money going to help somebody would never have happened. Like, and so I have to think that this insistence I have on booting people out of my life if they're leaving me feeling rejected or humiliated or disrespected is probably not a very good attitude. It's actually not just unchristlike, but also it denies all future possibility of something better coming out of the situation. And yeah, looking back and thinking this now, I'm starting to have some serious regrets over different choices I've made. I mean, there are people I kicked out of my life in an attempt to protect my heart and protect my mind. And I'm thinking maybe I should have just handled the situation some other way, but still maintain that friendship, because if I had, then maybe things could have gotten better and some sort of good could have come out of it. And it's prompting me to think that, not just of this friend who I've been worried about lying to me about, this massive thing, but also other friends, who I've suspected had negative intent towards me, manipulative intent, and I've distanced myself from them for those reasons. And yet, yeah. But the fact that I've done that means that they only ever get to be that person. I've left no room for improvement. And yeah, if I really think about what I believe in, I I don't really believe people should just kick people out of their relationships just because things aren't going very well. I think that if you're in a relationship, you should try to work on it and try to fix it and treat, parting ways as a last resort. It it shouldn't be your initial response to concerns or trouble. So, with that in mind, I'm thinking that the next time I talk to this lying friend, I'm just going to be straight up with them and say, "Look, I know you're lying to me, and yeah, I am a little concerned about why you're doing that. Like, I'm concerned about what your long-term plans are for that lie, but if your life is your own business, so I'm not going to press it anymore, but just, you know, I don't know, like, because obviously I don't want him to think that he can just lie to people and it's okay, but at the same time I'm like, is it my job to teach people life lessons? Really? I don't think it is. I think, I think it's right for me to state what I believe in and to be upfront with people about my values. But I don't think it's my job to try to force people to be better than what they are. In fact, um, one of my one of the reasons I've distanced myself from some people was that I felt like they were so concerned with trying to fix me that I couldn't even have a normal conversation with them. And if being treated that way by others left me feeling that alienated and that hurt, then I have to think that treating other people that way is probably a bad idea. So, yeah, I think I will maybe fire off a message to that friend, or, maybe just the next time I see them, I just be straight up. But, or maybe I won't even seek the opportunity out. Just if it comes up in conversation, I'll just state it. But yeah, just overall, like for me, this is an important turning point, because what I have now is an answer to that question of, you know, should I deliberately avoid people if I suspect that they have bad intentions, or should I try to give them the benefit of the doubt? And the answer seems to be yes, give them the benefit of the doubt. Try to treat them like a normal person and hope for the best, because that is the right thing to do, really. Like, they might still go on to do the wrong things, or even hold the wrong attitudes, or even become terrible people, but that's not in my hands. Like, I only have control over what I'm doing. So I'm gonna just give people the benefit of the doubt, I think. And I'm like, that's like, as I say that, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster, like going over the precipice. Like, to me, it's scary, but it's the right thing to do. It's, and I think having real integrity means doing what you believe in even when it's scary. So I'm going to try to see this through. So yeah, thanks for listening.